Welcome to another video, and in this video I'm going to go ahead and now start putting on the rear timing covers and the valve covers. Before I move on, I want to show you guys a quick little update. If you've noticed, the engine is not here because I went ahead, wrapped up the engine, and went ahead and put on the pallet. So this engine is pretty much already ready to go. So I have everything that's going back to Alex at AM Tune. So in a few days, the delivery guy is going to come and pick this up and send this off to Alex. So that's the nice thing, to finally have that out of, not in the way, but just have still a little more open room here to work with. So again, organize some little bit of boxes here and there, but it's still little, cramped, a little messy, but hey, as long as I still have enough room right here to work, I'm good. If you saw my last video, I went through the steps, with the timing and all that stuff. So now it's time to go ahead, like I mentioned before, put on the timing cover. So there's going to be 3 pieces for the back part right here. So you got your main cover right here, which is this guy right here. And then you got your 2 covers for your heads, rear part of the heads. So your passenger side and your driver's side. I'm going to go ahead and talk about this, and I did not feel like this was necessary for me to record this process. But I went ahead and just cleaned every single, face right here where the plate is going, where the cover is going to be making contact, to make sure that it's nice and clean, that any residue from the gasket from the previous when it was together, that was nice and removed, even on the cover itself as well. The 3 tools I used was a pick. So the pick, I use this, I kind of like to get into the threads just to get any gasket that was, with inside the threads, did, the best I could within the threads. And then as far as the surface area, I use this plastic scraper. I use this plastic scraper just to be on the safe side. I know some people have used a metal, like a kind of a box cutter knife blade, but just to be on the safe side, so we had the plastic, and it worked just great. So, and I think I should have done this process first before putting in all the timing, because when you do scrape this stuff, you definitely don't want to have junk kind of falling into here. That's why I had the vacuum with me at the same time. So as I was scraping along here, I had the vacuum hose right next to it as I was scraping around the engine. So if I were to do this again, I'll definitely do the cleaning part first, and then install the timing stuff second, before installing the main cover. So the main cover has to go on first. Before installing them, again, same thing I did with the engine, I did the same thing right here. So I cleaned all these grooves. You can see this cover has a groove. I cleaned all the old gasket that was in here. Cleaned every single surface right here. Clean anything type of residue you can get with the pick. I'll try to get all that stuff out of the holes. Did to the best as I can. And yeah, so definitely give this stuff a good clean before installing everything, the covers back on. Also, if you haven't already, I went ahead and removed the rear crank seal here, so because you can't reuse it, because if you try to install it while it's still on, you're gonna have trouble getting it on over this. So it's just get a new one, and you're gonna install it without the crank, and I'll go into more detail when that step comes. I'm gonna go over, I know I mentioned this before in a previous video on which screws go in which hole, because you can see there's a whole lot of holes in this timing cover, and you got 3 types of screws. You got the Torx. You got 2 types of Torx. You got the long and a short one, and you only got 1 Allen, which is just one size. So here, just to show you guys the 3 types of bolts that are for this main rear timing cover. So you got 2 types of screws that are T30s. There are 2 different lengths, and then the Allens, which is a 6 mil. Now I'm going to go ahead and show you which size bolt and type go in each hole. And I'm going to start going from here, and I'm going to kind of work my way around this way. So the first bolt is this one right here, and I label this as a torque. So it's going to be the long one. This is a torque short, an Allen, torque short, a torque short, torque long, another torque long. Right here I have a torque long. Here's an Allen, 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 a torque long, torque long, torque long, torque long, Allen, Allen, torque long, and torque long. Real quick, I actually skipped a few. So I skipped this one right here. So this one is a torque long, and then the ones up here, and these ones are your short. So there's 4 of them. Next process is the placement of the sealant. So if you see right here, there's these grooves. So all these grooves right here. So that's where you're gonna go ahead and put the sealant all along this right here, and up on top right here. And then also where you see like the bolts like these right here, this, 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 and this. And I'm pretty sure that is about it for when it comes to this main plate right here. Speaking of sealant, this is the sealant that I'll be using. It's the Permatex Ultra Gray. Okay, so I went ahead and put in the gasket sealer, and you can see along where I did it, where I placed it. Now I'm going to go ahead and carefully place it back right here where it belongs. And the cool thing is there's like a dowel right here, and then there's one right here. So that will be lining up. So try to make sure to line up, and if it helps you too, try to make sure, you know, when you are placing this right here obviously is going to go right here. So try to use this as a guide to center it, and then have these top ones right here to help you align up to here so you know how high or low you need to go. But yeah, so that's going to be the next process. So again, take your time when placing this on, because you definitely don't want to get this smeared all over and then, you know, have to redo this process again and waste product. I'm doing the driver's side. Here is the driver's side rear upper cover, and as always you want to make sure you clean every single corner. And also you're going to need a new gasket right here, and this is the part number for that driver's side gasket. And looking at this, there's going to be 2 types of screws. You got your long ones, and then you got your short ones. And there's only going to be 3 short ones, and the 3 short ones are the ones right here that go on the bottom. So you got 1, 2, and 3, and their other long ones are the ones that go on the side and also along the middle part. And where you're going to be placing the RTV is along the side right here, all this part right here into right here. So this part you're not going to put RTV just yet. That's once I get to the valve covers. There you can see where I laid down the gasket sealer all along right there. So now I'm going to go ahead and insert it in its place. Before I go on, make sure that you do have this O-ring or the gasket that goes around this off for the time being. So right now I have all the screws in place. So right now I'm going to show a little screenshot of all the torque specs for the driver's side. So it's a little bit confusing. I'm going to go ahead and explain. So first, you're going to do these 3 ones right here on the outside. Or I guess 3 on this side, and these 3 right here to 5 Newton meters first. And then the next set of torques will be these bottom 3 right here. Those will be the 10 Newton meters. And then you're going to do your center ones first, and then they're going to do those ones to 10 Newton meters. And then the remaining screws, which are these that were left at 5 initially, you can finally torque these down all to 10 Newton meters. So now go ahead and install the passenger side upper timing cover. And again, same, I'm going to be placing the gasket on along the same part as I did on the other side. So along this edge, as far as the top part, and not yet until I put on the valve covers. Again, have the little O-ring for the, for the solenoid thing to off for the time being. And again, all these right here are going to be your long screws. All these right here in the middle on the side, and then your short screws are going to be these 3 right here, 1, 2, and a 3. So again, as always, just like the other one, here is the new gasket. Again, it's a different shape than the driver's side. This is the part number for the passenger side gasket. And as for the passenger side, I'll be showing a little screenshot of the torque specs, and I'll go ahead and explain it. So just like on the driver's side, it's going to be the exact same thing. So these 3 right here get torques down to 5 Newton meters. Same thing with these 3 right here to 5 Newton meters first, and then these bottom 3 are next, and these are to 10 Newton meters, then the middle ones 10 Newton meters, and then the remaining 6, which is, so these 3 on this side, we can finish it off at 10 Newton meters, and these other 3 right here also to 10 Newton meters. And I forgot and I failed to explain it on this one. So with this one, I am torquing it like in a star pattern. So I'm starting off with the centers first, then I go, you know, diagonal to this one, then that one, then this one, and then that one. And kind of like same thing with this. I start off in the middle and go work on the sides, and the same thing, start in the middle and kind of work my way out. So kind of like just, hopefully that makes sense. Now that I have both the upper timing covers installed, I'm gonna go ahead and start putting on my my block off plate. So this one already has, I just need to tighten this one down, and then also the gasket that goes around this. Also, I'm gonna go ahead and install the camshaft positioning sensor. Sorry about that. And again, all these screws right here that are to the, you know, if you are running, you know, the block off plates, or if you still have the SIA, you know, system on your engine, but hopefully by then, if you're in this stage of the probably have the engine out, you might as well delete it, trust me. And all these screws are going to be also 10 Newton meters. This one, these, you know, obviously once I get to that crossover coolant pipe, that will also be 10 Newton meters. Even these 2 right here, the 2 screws for the gasket for this, will be also 10 Newton meters. Before moving on, as far as the camshaft positioning sensors, the driver's side is the 90-degree one that's like a 90-degree turn, and then the passenger side is just like straight. So for the gasket right here, so you have, you know, you look kind of like your O-ring right here, and then on this side it's kind of flat, this side not so flat, and you got, you know, that little crevice that goes in there, and on this side it's flat. So this part right here, I'm gonna try to do my best with one hand, goes this way like this. So it sits flush just like that, and it's gonna go in, you can see, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. And then you got your 2 screws right there, and that's how this goes in. And again, the same thing on the passenger side. So, and then as far as the camshaft positioning sensor, you do have an O-ring right here. It's that little green thing right here. So I'm gonna go ahead and, not green thing, I'm sorry, I can't even see. It has a little bit of green right there, but I'm gonna oil this up just a little bit with some new engine oil, and put this in here. And again, it's gonna be the same thing with the passenger side. Next is gonna be the valve covers, and just to follow the same tempo that I've been going with so far, I'm gonna start on the driver's side and then move on to the passenger side. Before moving on, there's nothing in the Audi manual at all that says to put gasket sealer here, like what I've been doing here with the rear timing cover, just to use the actual gasket, the valve cover gasket only. But because it's me and I want to, you know, get that extra protection just in case to prevent any, you know, oil coming from right here, and especially, you know, if you've seen like, you know, older engines, how there's this cake batter with just oil right here, so that will help prevent from that happening. So what's going to happen is I'm still going to use both. I'm going to use the gasket seal that I've been doing so far, and then the valve cover gasket as well at the same time. So it's going to be, where I'm going to be placing it is along all this right here. So I'm going to be placing it on the inside. So don't put it on the outside, but like do it on the inside of the hole, if that makes sense, all along through here, and even in the half moon sections as well. So I'm going to go ahead and lay down the gasket and then show you what I have done so far. There you can see where I put in the gasket, and again, I put it on the inside of where the holes are. So by inside I mean like towards this side, towards the center of the heads. I put the gasket, and I already put on the half moons on the other bottom half. I already did the gasket as well. So that's all I did. I mean, nothing too special. It's just that extra step that counts for the longevity of the cleanliness of the exterior of the engine from having, you know, oil coming out. But yep. So now I'm gonna go ahead and put on the valve covers, and again, I already put on the gasket on this end, and I'm gonna flip it upside down and place it on here, and then go ahead and just by hand put on the little screws for the valve covers. Driver side valve covers is on, but real quick, I think I skipped this step. Before inserting this, if you do have anything that's covering this, remove that real quick so that this doesn't get pinched in between the, you know, the gasket right here for the coil pack. So yes, so remove that. So put on the valve covers first, and I went ahead and put all the screws on. Not even torqued them yet. I did them all just kind of hand tight, even the center one too. And then I went ahead and put my towels or whatever you're using to cover up. Because right now I still have access to I don't have the spark plugs installed yet, so I still have access to those cylinders. So I just still don't want any junk getting in. That's why I still have these in. Even if I did have the spark plugs in, I would more than likely still have this, because I don't want any junk getting into there. So for the time being, I'm just leaving it here, and I'm gonna do the same exact thing on the passenger side. So with the torque specs of the valve cover, it's gonna be 10 Newton meters, and it's pretty much gonna be kind of like a star pattern. And again, I'll post the screenshot up above so you can see for yourself how the sequence of the torques are gonna be for the valve covers. For the passenger side valve cover, is gonna be exactly the same process as I did for the driver's side. So just a quick review. I'm gonna go ahead and put gasket right here on all 4 sides where the half moons go. Put in the little half moons in, and then apply the gasket, seal it all throughout the heads. Then once that's said and done, go ahead and remove the towels here, because once I put the valve covers on, I don't want the towels to get pinched against right here. So I'm going to remove that, insert the valve, place the valve covers on, and then obviously I'll put in the screws all by hand. And then once that's said and done, then I'm gonna go ahead and put in the valve covers back in, because again, I do have access to the cylinder walls in there, and I don't want anything falling in. So I want keep this open as minimal as possible. Then once all the screws are torqued in, again, I'm gonna show you the screenshot of the torque specs. So pretty much is you start in the center. You can either go here or here as your second. So if you do 1, this will be your 1, 2, 3, and then your 4, 5, and then you kind of start, kind of like what I did with the heads, that same kind of like pattern. So again, you can see it on the screenshot for yourself, the torque pattern and in the order that it's supposed to go. So yeah, so this thing is almost finally completed as far as like being put together. Passenger side valve covers are finally on, and that is pretty much it when it comes to assembling the engine back together. The next steps for the engine now is obviously putting in all the accessories, your alternator, my condenser, the power steering pump, all that stuff, the front crank pulley, the clutch, all that stuff. So that will be on the next video. As mentioned, all the accessories will be installed in the next video when I get time to do that. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys learned something new, and thank you for watching. Have a good one.